You ever get that feeling, that kind of constant humming sense of being on edge, but you can't for the life of you figure out why? It's like your brain is just searching for something, anything to worry about. Well, that feeling actually has a name, and more importantly, it has a scientific reason.
All right, so in this explainer, we're going to take a journey. We're going from that all too familiar uneasy feeling all the way down to the microscopic level to the individual brain cells and the chemicals that make them talk to each other. We are going from feeling to synapse to really get the science of anxiety.
Yep, there's an official term for it, free-floating anxiety. The American Psychological Association defines it just like you see here. It's this general, ongoing sense of worry that isn't really tied to anything specific. It just floats there. This is a classic symptom of generalized anxiety disorder, but plenty of people feel this way even without a formal diagnosis. Now, it's really important to draw a line between this feeling and plain old fear. See, fear is reactive. It's your brain screaming, "Look out," because there's a very real, present danger, like a car swerving into your lane. But anxiety is proactive. It's your brain worrying about a potential threat in the future. And because the future is, always out there, anxiety can hang around for a long, long time.
So that leads to the big question, right? If there's no immediate danger, then where on earth does this non-stop feeling of worry actually come from? Why does our brain get stuck in this hyper-alert what-if mode? To answer that, we have to dig down into the roots of worry. And it turns out it's not just one single thing. It's usually a combination of factors that all kind of build on top of each other. Science basically points to three big areas. First up are genes. Some of us might just be genetically predisposed to it. Second, the very structure of our brain and how it developed plays a huge role. And third, our environment. The stuff we go through in life can literally shape how our brain responds to the world. And that third factor, our environment, is a massive one. For example, research shows that stress early in life, like childhood trauma, doesn't just leave behind bad memories. It can physically change the developing brain, altering its wiring and making a person more vulnerable to anxiety for years, even decades to come. So let's zoom in on the brain itself and take a look at the actual circuits that are involved here. The best way to think about it is like a super sophisticated alarm system, with different parts having very specific jobs. Okay, so it starts with what's called a bottom-up signal. This comes from a region deep inside your brain called the amygdala. This is your alarm system's central. Its job is to constantly scan the environment for danger and fire off a warning at the first hint of a potential threat. But of course, you can't have an alarm system without a way to turn it off. That's the job of your prefrontal cortex. Think of it as the brain's control tower. It sends a top-down signal to look at the situation and ask, hey, is this threat for real? Do we really need to panic right now? It's supposed to regulate that initial alarm. In anxiety, that whole regulatory process can get a bit out of whack. And check this out. What you're looking at here is one of the key players that helps that control tower do its job. This is a real image of something called an intercalated neuron. These little guys are specialized cells that act like gatekeepers. Their whole job is to use a specific chemical messenger to hit the brakes and calm that alarm signal down. And that chemical is called GABA. Which brings us to the chemical star of our show, GABA. Honestly, if the amygdala is the gas pedal for anxiety, then GABA is, without a doubt, the brain's brakes. Its full name is gamma-aminobutyric acid. You don't need to remember that. What you do need to know is that it's the main inhibitory neurotransmitter in your entire nervous system. So, what does that mean? Its primary job is to tell other neurons to just chill out, to become less excited, and to stop firing so many signals. So how does it actually do that? Well, GABA needs a place to deliver its chill out message, and that place is right here, the GABA A receptor. This is an incredible electron micrograph showing what these things actually look like. They sit on the surface of a neuron, and they pretty much act like a locked gate, just waiting for the right key. And here's how those brakes work, in three pretty simple steps. First, GABA, that's our key, finds its receptor and locks right in. Second, as soon as that happens, boom, a channel opens up, letting all these negatively charged ions flood into the neuron. And third, all that negative charge makes the neuron inhibited, basically way less likely to fire an alarm signal. The alarm gets quieter. It's a really elegant little system for putting the brakes on an overactive circuit.
Okay, so we've looked at the mechanism. What does this all mean for us? Well, this understanding completely changes how we think about managing anxiety. It's not just about coping anymore, it's about actively retraining these circuits.
This quote from the researcher Philippe Nuss really just hits the nail on the head. Anxiety disorders don't come from some permanent, hardwired defect in the brain. They come from a dysfunction in the modulation, which is a sciencey way of saying the system is just out of tune, not fundamentally broken.
And that's the incredibly hopeful message here. If a system is out of tune, it can be retuned. The whole goal of modern treatments, whether we're talking about therapy like CBT or certain medications, is to retrain these circuits. They're designed to help strengthen the control tower, improve that GABA braking system, and bring the entire network back into a healthier balance.
So I'll just leave you with this thought to chew on. If anxiety isn't some fundamental flaw in who we are, but instead it's a problem of regulation in a system that's actually designed to be flexible, well, what does that really say about our brain's incredible inherent ability to change, to adapt, and to find its balance again?